All right, well, welcome everyone to the My Friend Ben podcast. My name's Ben Smith.
It's official. I want to introduce
Oh,
this.
sorry.
Start over. This is episode 1?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Well, we haven't done another one.
Right. Okay, I'm Taryn, and this is my friend Ben. Yeah.
My friend Ben.
Um,
I'm also my own friend.
That's weird. Okay, so it's totally weird. So, okay, here's the thing. We have these microphones because this is really a podcast.
Yes, this is a podcast.
And
we're also recording video for the people who are listening via podcast, which is why we made that clarification.
Yes. So I just Ben insisted that we use real microphones because he's an audiophile.
Yeah, well, I do sound, so I don't know if I'd call myself an audiophile, but
I just
appreciate
like the
this.
sound of audio file.
Okay.
Okay, so here today, how did this podcast come to be? I think that's important. We need to explain how this happened.
Well, it was a fun time.
Right, so way back, like a whole month ago, we had a really great conversation, and it was really funny, and it got really awkward really quickly because of what movie?
It was this movie right here, Chirac.
Chirac, there's physical evidence.
I'm holding up a physical copy because I bought it because I thought the movie was fantastic.
Which is hysterical because I'm like, I cannot believe you own that. Okay, so like when the movie came up because we were just talking about movies, and I don't know why we were talking about movies. I don't know why Ben was like, hey, do you like Chirac?
Yeah.
Why,
I don't
Ben?
know. I don't know
Why did you ask that?
I don't know why.
Am
well,
I
I
your
think
only
because
black friend?
you're not. You're not my only black friend.
50%? No.
No,
Go ahead. Tell the story.
I have more than one. I have more than 5. Anyway, so I don't remember why we were talking about it. I think we were talking about, I don't know, like race relations in general. And so I brought up Chirac as like my white person's like understanding and like been a contribution to the conversation.
Yeah.
And
it's okay. There were 2 white people, so he was a little bit more in the know. So
I was
like
the other,
2 points.
The other
2
white
points.
person did
Yeah.
not really know what was.
He was
what I
like, "What
talking
is a
about.
Chirac?" Which we love you. I'm just saying.
So we do.
But yeah, so
Go to
it
Starbucks.
was interesting. Yeah. So and then Ben's like, "No, Chirac was like amazing." To paraphrase your voice.
That's how it sounds, I think.
And I was like, no one I know likes Chirac.
Which is weird, because I said everyone I know likes Chirac.
And then I probably was rude enough to say, oh my god, are they all white people? Or maybe you admitted
No,
it.
I think
don't
I
know.
had said that, because
Okay.
I asked you the question. I said, wait, are all the friends that you asked, are they all black people?
And I was like, yeah, of course.
And I was like, okay, all the people I talked to and read were white people. So there's the disconnect. Like how a whole like type of person
Swath.
felt one way about the movie and completely the opposite for the other
Yes.
group of people. And after the conversation, I went and read reviews, and
people reviews.
both people reviews. All but one white person liked the movie and thought it was amazing. Most of them thought maybe it was the best movie of last year. And then I could not find a black person who felt that way.
Which just like that killed me because when you said that, I was like, not the whole year though. Like not the whole year.
The whole year. I mean, what else was out last year? I mean,
True. I mean, it was a crappy year. Like we saw the Oscars, or you might have watched it. I didn't watch the Oscars, but I did look at the list of nominees. I always look at the list of nominees. It was
Oscars so white, you know.
Yeah, it was a pretty whack year, but not just the whiteness. It was just whack. Period.
Yeah.
The whiteness didn't help it be any less whack.
That's true.
So that was part of it. But yeah, so then I realized that I was like, there's a conversation here. So if only for the fact that we're both film heads. I mean, I think we both watch a lot of stuff. I mean, how many random people are you like, hey, Marlon Brando, like on the waterfront?
Let's have a conversation about I could have been a contender. You know?
Right, exactly. Like, so I think like we're both film heads, and so that was like a good starting point. But then we also go to the same church, which is kind of cool. So we share that, and then the fact of like being film heads, but coming from totally different perspectives.
Yeah,
we're like maybe someone would like to listen to this random conversation because neither one of us backs down.
Right. Yeah, and I think Lance had a lot of fun just sitting there listening on the other side of the table as we went back and forth for maybe an hour about film and lots of other things.
Yeah, and just throwing random films back and forth. So, so I think it was a worthy conversation, and but film wise, yeah, Chirac was just not good. I still haven't. The worst part is I still haven't finished it.
Well, see,
I got
you
halfway
really don't have an
through,
opinion then.
And
I haven't finished the movie.
here's the thing. I got halfway through. I was at my house. It was Amazon Prime, and I was like, hey, I'm at my house. I don't have to keep watching this. I can turn it off and enjoy my life. So that's what I did.
Well, I was in the theater. I decided to leave my house, drive down the street, and I've been following Chirac and wanted to know when it was going to leave theaters. And so I've been looking every week to see I had a spare night. And I made a point to drive to the theater and go see Chirac in the upstairs theater of the Plaza on Ponce de Leon in Atlanta, which is where we live. And it was awesome. And I left, and I went with my roommate David, and we were like, man, I thought the movie... I left and was like, that was an incredible movie. And David had a little bit more wherewithal, apparently, as a white guy than I did. And so David looks at me and he's like, yeah, I mean, I really liked everything that was in it, but these are his words. He said, this is like a Christian movie to like the audience that it's speaking to. You know, like it was so just, it's only preaching to the choir. Like the only people who are going to go see Chirac are the people who are going to like believe in the things that Chirac is saying.
And the people who are not shooting the people in their neighborhood.
Right. And so, exactly. And so he was like, it's just like a crappy Christian movie that we make fun of all the time. And I was like, no, but it isn't though. But I think maybe he might be right.
Yeah, and I mean, Nick Cannon is not the realest. Like, if you're like, yo, let's get a rapper to like play a rapper. Like, a lot of people,
I don't know that.
Right, but it's funny too because I don't know. Like when I talk to like my random black dude friends, they like all hate Nick Cannon.
Oh wow.
I don't know why he's universally hated. I'm like, but Mariah liked him though. Like I don't until she put him out.
And she's,
but
is she well,
generally,
all white people like Mariah Carey.
Yeah, like but I see it. I didn't know that because I felt like white people fell off after she did that song, "The Old Dirty Bastard."
Oh, I don't know that
me
song.
And Mariah.
But really, it's just Chris's music that we like. So.
Oh yeah, no, that album. Everyone likes that album.
Yeah.
She could never make another piece of music.
That's true.
But me and Mariah until like Babies and Pacifiers. OG. See, that's what I'm saying. The white people did fall off. They fell off after the Christmas album.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just interesting.
Also, though, I'm not all white people, so maybe we should ease up on stereotypes.
Right, just white people who live in Georgia.
I am a token white guy, though, so no matter how hard I've spent my life trying to not be one, I think I just have to accept that I am very white.
I mean, sometimes tokenism gets you benefits.
So I'm white. So I think it's a opportunity now to transition into.
How white are you, Ben?
To how white
Why don't you tell us?
And sort of our backgrounds a little bit, where we came from, and how we're bringing different cultural experiences to the conversations that we will have.
To the podcast.
And so, which is like a thing that doesn't really happen in our day right now, is people who disagree, like usually are throwing rocks at each other. Like the anti-Trump protesters were just throwing shirts that they lit on fire on stage like a couple days ago, which is somewhat crazy.
Was that here? What state was that?
I don't know. I didn't read the full article.
It's getting rough out there.
But so like it's an opportunity for dialogue from different people.
Okay.
And so these are the different cultural perspectives we're bringing to the conversations. But so I grew up in Georgia, lived my whole life here. I grew up an hour south of Atlanta in a town called Noonan, Georgia. It's right next to where The Walking Dead is filmed, so that's its claim to fame now. Before The Walking Dead, its claim to fame was Alan Jackson. Do you know who Alan Jackson is? He's a really famous country music singer. So he sang a song called Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee.
I've heard that song though!
Alan Jackson. I live right down the street. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. It gets hotter than a hoochie coochie.
Ew, gross.
Yep.
But I thought that was about, doesn't the Chattahoochee goes to Tennessee? I think
the Chattahoochee runs, all the way through.
That's
so it ran like sort of right behind my backyard, and I went to the same high school Alan Jackson went to.
Aww.
So I grew up. It's really funny because I went to public school my whole life.
Yeah.
And when I got to college, I went to the University of Georgia, and most of the friends that I met there were private school educated, private Christian schools. But when we got to college and I made all these friends, everyone thought I was homeschooled. So if that tells you any bit about my upbringing, I was in public school my whole life and everyone thought I was homeschooled because I was that sheltered and naive, but really of my own volition. My parents weren't even that strict. I didn't have a curfew. I could hang out with people all the time. I do really whatever I wanted to, except I couldn't. I was. So for people who have any familiarity with the church, I always describe myself as the Pharisee of the Pharisees. And so in the Bible, Jesus is always preaching against these Pharisees, is what they're called. They're the religious leaders, and they're have all these rules and I follow them really well. And so even though I wasn't really self-aware enough in high school
my
to
gosh.
know that I was.
You were like rule kid.
Like I was rule kid.
You were like, "Hey,
seriously,
guys."
no, my friends they would not want to ride with me, even my freshman year of college, because I wouldn't drive a mile per hour over the speed limit.
We wouldn't have been friends. I'm glad I didn't know you back then.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Thank
have been
you.
friends with me either. So that was my life growing up. Those were the friends that I had that I was like prided myself on. I didn't do all the other things that all the other high school students did. I was gonna go home and I was gonna do my homework and like practice piano and go to lacrosse and be in marching band and
This
have
is so
friends.
great because this is the first I'm hearing of
And
it.
play Guitar
and it's
Hero.
like cracking me up.
And so that was like what I did. And then, I like started a Bible study my senior year. I thought that was really cool.
Oh my
And
gosh, this just gets better. Keep
yeah,
going.
and so then I went to college and all of my friends made sure that I knew how much of a loser I was in high school. So,
man.
so that was my life growing up. That's what I did. That's the circles I ran in. I was very much like in the conservative Southern Christianity bubble, the Bible Belt as they call it.
I'm aware of that bubble.
And so that was my life. I've since, I think, luckily, changed my views on most of the things I had as a kid, but like come out of that like really claustrophobic, maybe incestual.
Yeah. It's kind of scary.
If we were in Alabama, it would be incestual.
Yeah, why
Georgia's not
Alabama?
incestual.
Why Alabama? Way to put it on the other state.
Well,
Okay. It's like the other Virginia.
We have a big city, so.
Yeah, we have a city.
We have one.
Half a city, I think, in Alabama.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Right? Oh, really? I thought Huntsville was supposed to be like the spot.
Well, that's where isn't that where the University of Alabama?
And there's
that's
a
what
NASA
school is
there. There's a NASA in Huntsville.
I don't know.
Maybe I was lied to.
Birmingham was almost Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because the airport that's here, which is the busiest airport in the
I
world.
don't believe that. But
No,
go
it's
ahead,
true.
keep
It's
talking.
true.
Okay.
When they were looking at building an airport in the southeast,
Yeah.
the mayor Hartsfield,
Yes.
which is why it's named after him, like fought really, really hard, and that's like all he did. His whole
He
legacy was
probably
bringing the
killed a couple of
airport.
people.
Probably, but his whole legacy was bringing the airport to Atlanta,
Okay.
and so then businesses grew up because the airport was here, and so
Local history.
yeah,
I'm
and so
learning
now. Yeah, so I've lived in Georgia my whole life.
Yeah, I'm new.
Although I
I'm
went to
extra
public
new.
school, so I didn't really learn this in school. I've learned this since then, but I do love Georgia, and I rep it really hard everywhere I go. And my fiance actually is from Texas, and so Texas people, like, they love
that foreign
Texas.
country.
Yeah, that foreign country of Texas.
I don't support that at all.
Everyone says Texas is the greatest state of all time.
No,
and
Texans say Texas
sorry,
is the greatest
everyone
state of all
in Texas
time.
says Texas
Texas is like 150 years old.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not.
from
Yeah, I went to the Alamo.
Virginia.
Yeah. But anyway, so
much
she's
older.
always like
Yeah.
talking about how great Texas is, and
Yeah.
I like am just a really excited person by nature. I'm always like trying to recruit people to be on my team in everything, and so I will everywhere I go. I'm like, man, Georgia is so great. Like we've got mountains, we've got the ocean, we've got swampland if you like that sort of thing. Like we got big cities, we got rural parts of the world, and we have gnats. But like it's really great. There's lots of cool stuff here.
Okay, gnats.
But not gnats. But I do really love Georgia, so like I try and pay attention to the history and all of that stuff that the way things used to be.
That's awesome though, because I don't know anything because I've only been here less than a year.
Okay.
I came last summer, and before last summer, I was in Virginia. Note the shirt if you're watching. Bob Beach?
It says
What?
Virginia Beach. She showed up at my house today for our first episode to record, and I said,
Bob
did
Beach?
you wear that shirt just so that people know?
I gotta rep 757. Okay, because like 757 is very interesting, which is our, that's our area.
Yeah, I know that because people from the 229, which is the Southwest Georgia.
Oh, really?
Everyone from there is like, oh, 229.
They try to rep 229.
Yeah,
it don't sound as cool as 757. Who you represent in 757? You're not ready. Y'all not ready.
I was not ready.
You were not. So
I was
you didn't
not
know.
ready.
You didn't know about it. So like when I was in high school back in the 90s. So that should be mentioned. Yeah, because I'm like a decade. What is like older?
I was born in 1990.
Yeah, and I was born in
a time before that.
Yeah, a good decade and maybe even a little longer before that. So yeah, back when I was in high school, so you call the like one radio station and they'd be like 757, who you representing? And then people, if they're from Virginia Beach, they'd be like Bob Beach in the house, Bob Beach in the house. And I'm from Newport News, and that is not cool because that's too many syllables. So people started saying new bad news because it's easier.
But that's the same amount of syllables.
Well, kind it,
There's
but
not
it
as much mouth
sounds
movement, yeah.
better. I love how you overanalyze that.
Whoop is a lot to say. B is the softer form of.
Yeah, and there was
So.
too many hard consonants.
Yeah.
Why are we okay? But yeah, so you rep like your little spot where you're from, and 757 is cooler than like being from Northern Virginia, which is like whatever. So, which is aspirationally DC. That's the problem with them.
Yeah.
They're kind of uptight up there.
Right.
And like from my area, Pharrell's from there, Missy Elliott's from there, Timbaland's originally from there.
Look at that.
Yeah, so we have our own
All
sounds.
those people are bigger than Alan.
Yeah, it's like also Mike Vick is from New Bad News, as we all know. Yeah, representing Allen Iverson.
That's
God bless.
That's our connection.
Oh, really?
Because he played for the Falcons before he
okay,
was arrested.
that's right.
For
I forgot.
dogs.
In New Bad News.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my spot. That's where I grew up. That's where I spent most of my life. But before I came to Atlanta, I was living there for a couple of years. Before I went back, see, I'm going backwards. Before I went back to Virginia, I was in Korea for 5.5 years.
What were you doing in Korea, Tara?
I was teaching English to the children.
Wow, that's such a white person thing to do.
Hey, don't be hating. There's lots of us there. What's funny is that there's a group called Brothers and Sisters of South Korea. You don't have to be black to be in it, but you better be black friendly because I will shut you out. It's a Facebook group, so anyone can join, but like say 2 stupid things and see how quick you get like unjoined from there. You got about 2 times, depending on the week. 1 time,
right.
Depending on the week. So yeah, so anybody can join, but it's funny because yeah, that's like how all the black people in Korea find each other.
Right.
It's like,
okay.
So if you're in Korea, brothers and sisters. So I was there for a while. So like 안녕하세요, 한국 친구들. 안녕. Yeah. Yeah. So I do speak a little bit Korean because I was there so long. Before Korea, I lived in Nashville for 7 years. That's what happens when you're old. You be doing like mad stuff and living mad places. So I lived in Nashville for like 7 years. I worked for a gospel magazine out there that shall remain nameless, you know, did the music thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, ooh, Christians, I can't even with y'all. So...
Amen.
Yeah, gospel CCM, I was like, I gotta get out of here. These people are crazy.
You just said it. Okay.
So, well, CCM music.
CCM, gospel
not the
and
magazine.
CCM.
Not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
magazine. So
CCM is short for Contemporary Christian Music, for those of you who
don't
know.
speak Christianese.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a weird language.
It really is. So then before that, like I lived in Connecticut for a little bit too. My mom's from there. I went to high school there for a little bit. I was born there. So my mother's family. My mother's side of the family has been in New England since the 1800s.
Oh wow.
So we are New England Negroes. We
Wow.
are.
Look at that.
And I was literally born Negro. It says Negro on my birth certificate.
Oh.
That's effed up, y'all. Like,
That wasn't
that
even that
makes
long
me
ago.
sound like 500 years old.
It wasn't even that long
Like,
ago.
I was born a Negro.
Ooh.
A New England Negro, so I'm officially, I should
Right,
start my
well.
own team, the New England Negro.
Well, that's okay. I lived, my family's lived here forever.
Yeah.
And we actually like had a plantation in the 1800s and owned people. So
Yeah, owning people is not good. That's trafficking.
it is not.
That's trafficking,
not
man.
Cool. That is not cool. I don't support it. But I am
Good.
aware
You have to
that's
say
in my
that out.
family.
You have to put that out there. Because
You
people
do.
are like, how does he feel about it? Is he still down? Will Taryn be trafficked? Yeah. No, but I won't be trafficked. I will not be taken.
Yeah.
Let that be known.
If we don't make it past 1 episode, don't ask any questions.
If I'm gone, yeah, just tell them where to find me in Noonan. I guess. I don't know.
No.
No, not in Noonan. So I don't know. I feel like there will be a lot of shenaniganery. I don't know. What
Well,
else?
I feel like you missed a huge portion of your story that you shared with me that day when we were arguing about Chirac. Where did you go to college, Taryn?
I generally don't like to talk about that in public because it becomes a topic of conversation. No, I went to Liberty University.
We won't have to talk about it right now, but I
Yeah.
think people would appreciate the context.
I went to Liberty. If you went to Liberty when I went to Liberty, then holler back. But obviously, it's hard because a lot of people who went to Liberty kind of have a different lifestyle than me, which is not like, okay, I'm like out there clubbing, tricking, or like, you know, just to put those words out there. But it's just funny, like I've just clubbing, tricking, slanging, banging, you know, I'm out here, got 2 girlfriends. No,
Captain.
none of that. Yeah, see, you got that from Chirac, didn't you?
No, I got that from I'm Down by Missional Wolf, which I read after you recommended it to me when we talked about Chirac.
Yes, that's a really good
I'm
memoir.
trying to be woke. Did I say that right?
Stay woke. Stay woke.
Did I say that right?
No, fired. Yeah. yeah, so I think, going to Liberty was interesting because, like, my life has gone in just quite a different path than maybe a lot of my classmates. So the cool thing is, like, there are people that I will probably, the type of people I won't necessarily interact with again, voluntarily. Not, like, in a mean way. I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just, like, our paths would not cross under natural circumstances.
Right.
So, probably was a good experience for them in that way as well, because I'm, like, a really different sort of person than maybe they would have interacted with. So that's what college is for.
Really, I was going to say, that's really what the point of college is. Education, most people don't go there for that. But you do learn a lot about people. They go there to get married.
That's why they go to Liberty.
That's why they go to Liberty.
Yeah.
That's not why they go to
Fail,
Georgia.
I want a refund! Oh, okay.
Although if you go to Georgia, you probably got married. Most of my friends, I'm like the last one of my friends that I graduated with to get married.
And you're a baby.
I am not a baby. I have a beard. So babies don't have beards.
In New England, you'd be considered a baby. They'd be like, oh, he's getting married kind of early.
Yeah. One of my best friends works in New York for Hillary Clinton, and he has a woman in his office who's 30, and she's getting married, and she's like, none of my friends are getting married. They think I'm so weird that I'm getting married. And I was like,
New England.
All of my friends are married, and I'm 25.
Yeah.
So.
Vive la South. Yeah.
Well, almost all. One more has to get married as my roommate, but he's getting married next month, so. Almost all of them.
Point made. Right. So, interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, LU is an interesting experience, and it's definitely given me a broader view of the world. Just as much as traveling has. So, whatevs.
That's why I'm not gonna say that. Never mind.
That's why you got jokes.
That's why I'm not gonna make a joke.
Yeah. Okay. That's
to the public.
That's why you're gonna let that go.
I have to realize now that it's not just me and you talking to each other.
We have to be gracious.
There are other people maybe listening. Hopefully, one other person decides to listen to this.
We have to be gracious. We have to be gracious.
So, also, you guys have to be gracious because we're gonna probably say something wrong at some point, and then we're people.
No need to pontificate.
We're just humans.
What was I gonna ask you? So, what was your major? In undergrad.
What was my major? What is this? The first day of school?
Yes.
My major is video production, mass media arts. Well, when I started going to the University of Georgia, it was called telecommunications.
Okay.
And then they decided.
So 90s.
Yeah, they decided to change the name halfway through to mass media arts.
Okay.
And I got to decide which one was on my diploma. So I picked the one with arts in the title because I figured, if I'm going to have student loans, I might as well get an art degree.
So you can just be like, I knew this was pointless, but I did it anyway.
Right. That's not what I took away from school. That's what I didn't really learn. Like, so I'm now in the industry in production, and most of the stuff most of the stuff that I've learned has not come from school at all.
No, of course not.
So, but I've learned it from the people that I met in school, doing our own stuff outside of school.
Way to put that plug for university.
That's the way. So seriously, one time I was working at this church as a youth pastor a couple years ago. That's a different story for a different time.
Right.
But I was driving back to Atlanta. It was like an hour south, and I was living up in Atlanta. And I was driving back up to Atlanta one night, and I was listening to the conservative radio station only because the Braves play on that channel.
Whatever.
The Atlanta
you like
Braves.
it.
I don't. Sometimes I listen to it purely for entertainment, but this time I got in the car and the Braves game was over and I was leaving, and there was a guy on there like arguing about how college is a waste of time.
No.
And so I was like, okay, I get what you're arguing for because you spend so much money and you have so much student loans, and then the unemployment rate was really high and a lot of new people aren't working, and if they are working, they're only working for like a year. But I was like, that's not what college is, and so I called him. I called in, and it took me an entire hour on hold, and finally, as I was like pulling into my driveway, he answered and I got to talk to him on the radio, and he was like, it was really funny because I didn't have a full-time job yet. I had interviewed for a full-time job at a TV station, and I was gonna be doing a job in my industry at a TV station, and the next day I ended up getting an offer from the company that I worked for, but the day before I was on the radio, and the guy, I'm telling all my arguments for why college is great, and how not just for the school, but the things you learn, the people you meet, and all that stuff, and he goes, well, let me ask you a question. Do you have a job in your industry or in your degree? And I was like, do I lie and say yes because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this job tomorrow? Yeah. Or do I just, and so I said no. But the next day I had this job, and I wish that I would have just been like, yeah, I do, so suck it, and then hung up the phone.
You totally should have called back just to say
that. Yeah, it's okay. So, but college was not there for school. I met a ton of people. It was an awesome experience. Great 4 years in Athens, Georgia. I highly recommend it. You should go visit. My sophomore year, it was the number one party school in the nation. But again, I was a Pharisee, so I did not know any of that. I was totally oblivious to the party school scene at UGA. I just played board games.
I'm sure we can investigate to find out if all of these details are true, but...
it's not art. I am an open book, and you will find that all of those things are true.
Yeah, that's kind of sad in a way, but
I'm not ashamed.
I went to like most of the parties at Liberty, but I'm sure they paled in comparison to the parties at UGA.
All right, but I don't know what those are, so I couldn't tell you what the parties at UGA were like.
Liberty never would get voted a party school.
Right.
So. Those party stories though are quite entertaining. I might share them some other time.
Time.
Yeah, there was a system of like the deans searching for students in town who were at parties.
Oh.
And it was quite a big part of weekend life, avoiding that. So.
Yeah, I heard. My cousins went to Liberty as well, and they would talk about how they had like people that work at the school at the movie theaters to make sure you don't see R-rated movies.
Yeah,
well,
that's also trespassing. So as I said, another topic for another time. It could go in a lot of directions, so
we'll save that for later.
Right, we'll let people do that.
So you have to come back and watch another episode.
Absolutely.
And hear that story.
Watch more. So I guess that explains why we're doing this.
Yeah.
And what to expect, not as much, but...
Yeah, we're just, we're gonna be talking about movies, talking about things going on in our lives.
Talking about Atlanta.
Talking about Atlanta, because I love the city. I don't know how you feel about it. You've been here for about a year.
I like it. I've not yet gotten to love, but I'm in deep like.
Okay.
So.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
Lots of history here. We can talk about it at another point as well.
Yeah.
But, cool. I don't know.
I think that's it.
What else you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I'm your friend, Ben.
Yeah,
this is our podcast.
My friend, the everyman, Ben.
So thanks for watching or listening.
Yes.
And come back again soon.
Yes.
And we'll have more of these, hopefully.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes.
Okay.
Because you will find Taryn again later. She's not going to be trafficked by me. So.
Oh my gosh. So I guess that's the end.